Even if you do something with my data, do it in a way it helps me.
These are the stocks that you should invest in.
Are you giving me responses according to my needs?
Hello everyone, today we are bringing a very insightful conversation on how technology, trust and creativity are shaping the future of investment marketing in India. Joining me are two leaders who sits right at the heart of this transformation. Mr. Puneeth Bekal, who is Chief Marketing Officer at HDFC Securities. Along with him, we also have Himanshu Mody, who is a partner and head of DEPT India. A very warm welcome to both of you, and thank you so much for taking out time for this conversation.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
So I think without much of taking time, I'll directly start with the questions. My very first question is to you, Puneeth. You lead marketing of one of India's most trusted investment and trading platform. HDFC is a very renowned brand in India. So what does your day-to-day mandate looks like across digital brand and customer engagement fronts? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, there are two parts to this question, right? One is we've been in this industry for the past 25 years.
Sure.
We've been known amongst our customers to bring about guidance to our customers so that they can invest responsibly. Now that comes in 2 or 3 different modes of engagement. One is digital, which is on the app itself, and the second one is through our relationship managers. So we have 2 apps. One is Invest Right, which is a legacy app, but we have recently completely revamped it with a lot of new features. I think most of the features that we have got into the app are above the curve in the industry. Every customer of Invest Right has an assisted service to it. So the customer can always pick up the phone for any queries that he or she might have. The second app which we have recently launched a year back is HDFC Sky.
Okay.
Now HDFC Sky is a DIY app completely. It is predominantly targeted towards the younger millennials and Gen Zs. But having said that, any one of us can use it. And the plus one that we have in the category, to go back to your core question of how do we build trust amongst our consumers, is that we have our research as a key service that we provide to our customers, and that for free. And this thought and this service predominantly comes from this core vision of ours is to how can we guide our consumers to invest responsibly. Okay. So to answer your question in short, it's a combination of human engagement and also digital touch points.
Considering how, with what good speed India is getting fully digitalized now, and then you starting, I'm sure that, when you started HDFC Sky, especially for the, Gen Z audience, the way you were saying, for the Gen Z consumers in particular. So that's very much a need of an hour, I would say.
Right.
Bringing that shift from traditional to covering all the Gen Z customers as well.
Yeah.
All right, so Himanshu, my next question is to you, that DPT partners with leading global brands all across the industry. We all have seen the kind of network you have all across the world. So from your perspective, I really want to understand that how is BFSI marketing landscape in India evolving as legacy institutions which accelerates digital transformations?
So DEPT, while it's a global company, my mandate is mainly for India. So I will, try to focus on India as a market. And I want to talk about DEPT a bit. So DEPT globally, we position ourselves as 50% tech and 50% marketing, and putting the customer right in between, right? So that's the philosophy with which we work. And in India, we specifically work only with BFSI clients, helping them with their digital experiences. We have one of the largest Adobe implementation team focused on India as a market. So 3 banks, 9 insurance companies, mutual fund companies, for these brands. I'm not taking names right now, but point is that when it comes to building digital experiences for financial services market, DEPT is at the forefront of it. Now, talking about BFSI landscape, like you mentioned, if you see the speed at which technology is moving, right, we can no longer say that digital is, brands are moving from traditional to digital. Digital has already happened.
Yeah.
Right? From the branch-led approach that was there in past, we are already much more ahead in terms of digital-led approach, where journeys start digitally, end digitally, and customers sometimes might have never visited the branch, for interacting with a brand. Right? Now, from there, what is happening is customers are increasingly expecting 1:1 relationship and expecting brands to give them that 1:1 equation in terms of, do you understand me enough, right? Are you giving me responses according to my needs, right?
Yeah.
So they no longer want a generic interaction or feedback with the various digital touch points. They want very hyper personalized touch points. So I think large brands are investing in CDPs, large brands are investing in technology and investing in the direction to reach that 1:1 relationship of hyper personalization.
Understood. So Puneeth, HDFC Securities sits at the intersection of technology and trust. And trust is something, which is a very key parameter when we talk about, a good business for that matter. So how do you maintain the institution's legacy brand image while appealing to the younger digitally native investor base? As we were just discussing that, how you've come up with HDFC Sky and, the questions regarding that.
Actually, it's a very pertinent question, and I think most of the legacy brands are facing this issue.
Yeah.
Of how they can engage with the younger audiences, right? It's not only us. I mean, if you look at many of the big brands in India today, many of the big legacy brands in India today, and some of them have dealt it very well by pivoting and showcasing their tech prowess, right?
Yeah.
With us, like I said, I think what we have at hand, which is the app, the HDFC Sky app, is possibly one of the the finest apps which are present in the category today, with almost all features that the competition of the category has.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned earlier, our plus one is that we also provide research for free on the app itself.
Okay.
So once you are a Sky holder customer, you can always log on to the app, and there is a research dashboard.
Okay.
Which gives you daily live calls, and there is a team sitting behind, with a rich research team sitting behind.
You just mentioned, I'm so sorry for interjecting, you
Sure.
just mentioned about the daily calls.
Daily live calls.
Yeah, so okay, I really want to understand that what it is.
So basically what happens is, okay, let me just break this down, okay?
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, there's an entire research institution sitting at the back.
Sure.
We have retail research. We have institutional research. Now, these are the guys who basically advise institutions.
Okay.
And then we have HDFC True, which I didn't speak to you about earlier.
Okay.
HDFC True is predominantly a wealth management service, advisory service, let me be clear, for the top 30,000 families in India.
Okay.
Now, all these three research institutions are sitting at the back.
Okay.
And they go through the entire length and breadth of industries, and bases their research, insights, analytics, they come up with certain stocks recommendation on a daily basis.
Okay.
Now the best part is, now depending upon the kind of investor you are.
Sure.
Now suppose if you are a intraday investor who wants to buy and sell on the same day.
Same day, yeah.
We have a list of stocks for that specific day which you can buy and sell. Similarly, if you're a short-term trader, wherein you say, you know what, I would want to stay in the market for say 6 months or 3 to 6 months. So during that window, what are those stocks which are available is again recommended by the research team.
Okay.
And there are long-term stocks.
Okay.
Similarly, we have recommendations for ETFs, a recommendation for MTF, recommendation for mutual funds, and FNO too. Now, in FNO, typically what happens is we don't recommend, but we give them strategies for that day.
Okay, that particular day.
That particular day itself. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that, the entire, how do I put it, the rich insights, which typically is not accessed by consumers at large, today is available at just one fingertip at one place.
Yes. Is it making the life of Gen Z audience and Gen Z consumers for you easier a lot?
Let me put it this way. See, what happens is, and I think I've spoken about this in many forums. Investment today is almost like a dinner table conversation, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to invest, and the first question which comes when there is a conversation about investment is where to invest. And predominantly, what happens is you tend to rely on your, say, your parents, your uncle, your friends. Sometimes, I always say, people who you speak like a bartender or your panwala. That's how the conversation. You take tips. Let me call it like tips from people.
Sure.
And you invest without even knowing whether if that's the right place to invest.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to say is that we have that wherewithal. I think we are in the best position because of our legacy of research for the past 25 years.
Sure.
To guide investors to invest responsibly. And there is a tool today where we can just go and access. So you don't need an external guidance. It's there for you to see. Double down on this piece because so that it's easier for even the audience to understand. It's not only research stocks that we give.
Okay.
We also give what's a good time to enter, or the good price band to enter, what's a good price band to exit. We give a date range also.
Okay.
So that, and also with stop loss to it. So what we're trying to say is that it is so easy for consumers without having the technical knowledge of the workings of the market to start investing, but then you're confident that investing responsibly.
My question is to you, Himanshu, that when working with financial brands, so how are basically brands ensuring that data and technology amplify creativity and trust alongside, instead of just making communications feel very conversational or transactional?
See, I think for financial brands, one of the most important thing is to ensure that people feel safe and trusted, right?
Yeah.
There's so many scams happening every other day. I mean, there is awareness, but there is so much of new things happening every day. So as from a digital experiences point of view, which we help customers to build, the most important thing is to have a way in which customers feel trusted, right?
Yeah.
So for example, in a digital experience, even if your website, takes a longer time to load, okay, it is erosion of trust in some manner, right? That maybe I cannot deal with this again because when I'm dealing in a financial market, say I'm, doing a transaction, or even if I'm filling up a form, and if something rolls on for more than the amount of seconds that microseconds that I'm comfortable for, is honestly going to erode trust, and next time I might think if I want to deal with that brand again. So trust keeping is not just data, not just PII data and how you treat my data that is there with you, but interestingly also, I mean, I can speak even as a consumer and as this thing, even if you do something with my data, do it in a way it helps me. For example, all the UPI transactions that I do, or all the things that I do, right now I don't see anyone using that data and giving me insights that, hey, your spend is, you're doing it in this manner, and maybe next month you have done it in this manner. Maybe you can use this additional money to do a top up in your mutual fund, or you can use this money to buy gold or do something like that. So there is no proactive, I mean, that's where brands are headed, I'm assuming, with all the investments that brands are making. So there's huge scope left in doing that. But at underlying thing for anything that financial markets are doing is ensuring that trust is at the center of it. So how the copy is written, how the communication is made, speaking it in a language. India is vast, right? I mean, there are different markets with different languages. So with technology, you can personalize in local languages. We have seen brands having great impact with personalization in vernacular languages, building more trust with brands where we can talk in a language that the person understands, right? Leveraging tech to reinforce trust is the most important aspect.
Understood. Puneeth, investors' journey today is, deeply hybrid, what I've understood. So, starting with the research online and often involving offline advisors or relationship managers as well. So, how are you integrating these touch points to create, for say, a seamless experience?
So I'll go back to our key proposition, which is Invest Right. Like I said, we have two apps. One is HDFC Sky, and second one is Invest Right. Now, in Invest Right, every customer is mapped to a RM. The relationship manager. What happens on Invest Right is, again, there's a research dashboard for customers to know that, okay, these are the spaces or areas where I can invest in.
Sure.
Specifically for, let's say, for an Invest Right customer, and where the average age group is about 30. These are the guys who may not have time to look into that portfolio day in, day out. Or may not have time to, say, do even research for upcoming opportunities, right? This is where the relationship managers come in, wherein one phone call from the relationship manager saying that, hey, there are 2 IPOs coming this week. Or the 2 IPOs, I think you should at least, apply for one of this because this is what been suggested by our research team.
Sure.
We feel there is a position on the portfolio that you already have, and I've got to know from our research insights that this position can be either be bought or be sold.
Okay.
Why don't you look at this industry which we feel is going to have a quantum jump in the next coming months?
Okay.
Possibly it would be a good investment for you. The other way also is where the customer picks up the phone, or relationship manager, and says that, you know what, hey, are there anything that I have surplus money right now, where do you think I should invest in? Now, every advice that comes both on the app or through an offline channel is obviously coming from the research team. So there is no dilution of message or content in any manner. But yeah, to your point, so the customer can access both online and offline. Some customers are much more comfortable to speak to a person and get that insight.
Yeah, trust, so basically, you know,
yes,
at times it comes when you physically see the person, talk to the
correct,
person rather than on the online process. Understood. Himanshu, from your global experience, I would want to know that what digital transformation lesson stands out for, you know, Indian financial marketers who are trying to balance regulation, innovation and speed at the same time?
So one of the key things that we have been partners with Adobe since almost 18 years now, right?
Yeah.
So one of the key things from my experience of partnering with Adobe for over 2 decades is that, you know, the leaders in the market, okay, keep customers at the forefront of all their decisions, and then they choose platforms which ensures reliability. So one of the key things of having this balance of you know, regulation, compliance, you know, trust of the customer, speed, you need a platform which is constantly evolving. So your business focus is around your customer and not really worrying about the platform will not go live, will not be live, or will this be a challenge or that be a challenge. So over the years, for me, Adobe has been my, you know, has proved itself again and again that in terms of you know, technology platform, it helps brands to achieve these things. It helps it to achieve speed. It helps it to stay compliant. So, for example, whenever any new law comes out in any markets of the world in terms of Data Privacy Act, Compliant Act, you know, the solution is compliant to it and helps brands to stay compliant to it without really having any worry, right? So, so things like these, right? Choosing the right platform, and then you build on top of those platforms so that you know, your focus is on your customer and your business, and technology does what it is supposed to do to translate all those laws and this thing, and without compromising on the speed. So for me, it is choosing the right platform helps brands to achieve this outcome. And globally, we have seen this, right? You know, most BFSI companies around the world, you know, choose the Adobe platform to you know, keep their brand promise out there.
Understood. You know, let's talk about artificial intelligence now, because I think there's no discussion without AI now. So, no, this question is to both of you, that what role are AI, automation or predictive models playing in helping your teams, both of yours, anticipate, you know, users' behavior, personalized recommendation or reduce churn? So, I would like to know your thoughts on that.
Sure.
Let's start with you, Puneeth.
There's been a lot of development at HDFC Securities, specifically on AI, across the funnel, from the core tech development till the last mile of engagement with customers, right? Okay. I will talk about 2 key aspects which can showcase how we are using AI right at this point in time. We have created a nudge engine internally, wherein, you know, there is a segmentation of say 55 odd cohorts, more than 1,000 odd messages across these cohorts in different formats. Okay. And these cohorts are again segmented basis their behavior, their risk profile, their current investments, and a lot of other parameters. Okay. So what happens is this intelligence sits right at the center with the last mile, which is basically where you are sending notifications, SMS, WhatsApp, emailers, and whatever. Sure. But the key part is this is where the true personalization comes in. So for me, actually, in marketing, people overuse the word personalization, and personalization has become a misnomer in many sense. Okay. Personalization is called personalization when it's relevant to the customer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So when the data or the information which has been sent in any form is relevant to me, that's when I first engage, and that's when I second act. Okay. Right. Yeah. Now a layer on top of it is also what kind of format of that information I typically engage with. Is it a reel? Is it an infographic? Is it a research report in a PDF, or is just a small notification which comes onto your app?
Sure.
So those again, the knowing the nuances of each consumer and what he or she typically wants and engages with is what the nudge engine does at the back end, doing all the predictive analysis and hence churning out relevant messages and engagement back to the customer.
Okay.
That is one part which we do almost 24/7 on a day in day out basis. The second part, which is predominantly marketing and content, is again, how do you democratize and make it easy, let me use the word, make it snackable for consumers to consume investment content which is typically boring, technical and very jargonish.
Yeah.
Right? So this is where AI has helped us a lot. I'll give one example. What we are currently doing is we have created avatars of all our research heads.
Okay.
Right?
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. And what happens is, obviously we don't have time to do shoots like this with the research team. So whenever there's a call or a report on a particular industry or a company which has been put out, it is then first converted into a snackable form in terms of text and commentary, which goes to the research head who signs the commentary, and we basically make an AI of the reel of that commentary in a reel form, in a podcast or whatever that might be.
Nice.
So the entire response time, because it's, like Himanshu said, investment in this category of things is about timing and also how the speed to market, right?
100%.
So it's that if there's a call or a institutional report or a research detail report coming out, you need to get it out immediately. So all this happens within say 24 hours or even less than that.
That's a very smart move.
Yeah.
Understood, Puneeth. So Himanshu, now I want to understand, how AI is helping your team in particular.
So there are two parts, right? In our case, from IT services point of view, there's a whole reset in terms of how we look at work, right?
Sure.
So obviously we are adopting to the technology and all that, right? But what is more interesting is what is it doing for our customers, right? From that point of view, I would like to frame it in three pillars. What is it doing in terms of data? What is it doing for content? And what is it doing for commerce, right? So brands need to solve for all three.
Yeah.
Right? Data, Puneeth already mentioned, the speed at which you do research and the speed at which it is available to you, and an insight is available to take action on. Now here the actionable is to buy an investment. For some other brand, the actionable could be to buy the next best product as this thing, to upgrade a subscription or something else, right?
Sure.
So how do you leverage data to come up with an insight which is most relevant for the customer and push them to act? Right, so that needs to be solved by a brand in whichever field they are, in whichever industry they are. Now, in terms of content, it's become far more easier to create content because of generative AI and all that. But at the same time, for larger brands, right, the challenge is a bit different. Now, earlier it would have been okay that you get an email saying, "Sir, approval de do aap," something of that kind, right? And someone would send you a message on WhatsApp, "Need your approval," right?
Yeah.
But those workflows with the current volume of content cannot exist, right? So now brands need to evolve to a content supply chain mindset where they have proper workflows to manage content at scale, approvals at scale, multiple campaigns at scale. And while I was walking in, I was mentioned already 3 large campaigns that Puneeth is going to manage in during Diwali, right? So the scale of campaigns, the number of channels, the amount of content is only going to multiply from here, right?
Yeah.
So just take an example like one particular campaign. India is not just one market. Say 10 markets into 5 languages, into 50 variations. So it is going to get humongous for all brands, right?
Sure.
So I think from content point of view, we need to solve it as a content supply chain, managing the whole thing. And finally, commerce, right? So commerce needs to become more and more, relevant, more and more quick, in terms of how quickly I can buy and from where I can buy and from where I can source. So all three, and then all three needs to work together, right? So data, content and commerce, all these three, needs to be solved by brands from an AI perspective, and keeping the customer in mind.
Understood. So Puneeth, how do you measure success beyond downloads or trades? Because I'm sure you must have cracked down to the metrics that on what basis you judge your success in terms of engagement, retention, or lifetime customer values at the same time.
So for us, it is very clear. We don't look at vanity matrices like number of downloads, to be honest.
Okay.
We want to ensure that every customer who's downloaded the app trades with us or invests with us.
Okay.
Hence, we look at activation rates as our key criteria, point one. Second is retention rate on month 1, month 2 and month 3. Our retention rates are possibly amongst the top 2 or 3 in the industry, if I can say comfortably and confidently.
Nice, that's great.
And while yes, our volumes might be far lesser because we just started off.
Okay.
Specifically for Sky, I'm talking about. The quality of customers who bring certain threshold ARPUs that we are basically chasing. We want customers who download, not only download, but also trade with us, engage with us on almost on a day in, day out basis. So we want to make this as a go-to app for it might be just to check your portfolio, or it might be checking what is today looking like in the markets. I'll just add one more example, and I'm sorry slightly deviating from the topic, but the reason I'm bringing this out is for example, we have a daily webinar on the app itself for F&O traders, where we have top F&O traders who come onto the app and give their views about how F&O strategies are going to pan out for Tuesdays and Thursdays, and there is a weekly and a daily call which happens on the app. So the idea is that how do you make this app as a place for everything about markets, everything about investment. So there is a news section, there's a Skylearn section, and also basically just making sure that everything is there at one place.
Sure.
And when a consumer is coming onto the app, there's high chance and possibility that they invest with you.
Understood. Himanshu, with new platforms and engagements format emerging constantly, we see it every now and then. So how do you basically advise clients to decide on where to focus?
So continuing with my previous answer, so every brand has its own evolution in terms of where they are in their journey, right? So sometimes they want to start with optimizing on data as their priority. Sometimes they want to optimize on content as their priority. Sometimes they want to optimize on commerce as their priority. So we help brands to initiate their journey on where they want to, what platform they want to choose. And the good part, like I said, for us being one of the platinum partners of Adobe, it maps with the mindset that we have, in terms of the priorities that we have. So the entire Adobe Experience Cloud allows a brand to have data, content and commerce as part of their requirement, and it is not necessary that you have to start with data first and then you have to do this and then you have to do this, right? So it allows a brand to start with where they are in their journey, solve for that, and then bring in other elements. And then the great part is, the platforms, it being a platform, the elements start talking to each other and make it even more relevant for the end customer. So choose a platform which allows you to do that is very important, where there is where you can start with wherever you are as a brand, and you're not forced to start from somewhere where you are not ready. And so the tech should not decide where you want to start your evolution from, right? Your needs and where you are with the customer, where your brand is, where your what promises you want to keep, has to define that whether do you want to start from being great at data or being great at content. Obviously some brands can afford to do it at all three together, but typically it's an evolution where you start with one element and then bring in the other aspects, and make it a most relevant experience for the customer.
Sure. So, Puneeth, I'll give you the last question from this interaction. That looking ahead, what do you see the next major innovation or shift that will redefine investment marketing and customer experience in the next 2 or 3 years, for that matter?
So we are now looking at on like a building platforms which is got AI enabled chatbots. Which almost acts like a personal advisor to you again onto the app itself.
Okay.
So a combination of text-based, voice-based engagement with each and every customer, so that every discussion is real time.
Okay.
At the same time, the customer can decide when to have the discussion depending upon when he or she is free.
Okay.
So what's going to happen in the future, at least that's the way we are envisioning it, is that obviously using AI as a base, as a platform, we're building on top of the platform, we're building capabilities wherein we bring all the insight, all that we spoke about in the last half an hour at one place where the customer can just chat, have a conversation, or just be it on text or be it in voice. Like you're talking to
a friend,
a friend who is extremely capable and insightful and has got the right professional expertise.
Sure,
yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so Himanshu, I would like to know your last comments that looking ahead, what major innovations or a creative tech shift do you believe will most transform financial marketing in the next few years?
I think one of the key things is going to have the element of agentic AI. I believe sooner or later there would be enough empowering happening through the brands, through the technology, where I can configure an agent to look for a particular pattern that I believe in, and then when that pattern happens, let me know, and then I want to act. So the actual behavior of people going on the website or going on the app again and again is set up to be disrupted.
Sure.
And brands will have to be ready on how they look to an AI agent. So for example, it's just happened today, so I'm sharing it, right? So Adobe announced something called as Adobe LLM Optimizer, and as part of that solution, they announced a plugin which allows a brand to see of how an LLM model looks at their page.
Okay.
Now that's a very insightful thing to know, that a human looking at my page is obviously visible, but today it is even more relevant for a brand that how is that AI agent looking at my page, right? So right now it is at LLM model level, but very soon there'll be hundreds of AI agents which would be configurable, which would work according to my needs, and then my interactions with brands will typically happen through this AI agents. I think our jobs is going to get more and more complicated, but I think it all remains, the technology changes it, but yet it all remains the same, because end of the day the underlying thing is still trust and being reliable. So the tech will help us to do that.
All right. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
And I'm pretty sure audience is going to love this interaction. Thank you so much, Himanshu. Thank you so much, Puneeth.
Thanks.
That was an insightful conversation. Thank you to the audience as well for tuning in.